Get it on the seat backs in front of you, behind you. Hands, arms, heads, and other body parts will need to remain inside of the personal belongings. Or say, males get to grow the bigger tusks, just like the males do. The one with the really big tusks in the center there is Hatari. I can pick her out because she's got such big tusks. She starred in the John Wayne film. The gals average 10 to 15,000 pounds, and protecting that skin is important. Hatari just dusted herself. She grabbed a trunk load of dirt, flung it up onto her skin. Dirt works as a protection to the skin. It works as a physical sunblock and can also protect smaller ears that are shaped more like the country of India. They also have a little bit of a hump to the back instead of the suede back, and the females don't look like they have tusks, though they actually do. Their tusks are very, very in the entire world-famous San Diego Zoo. Of course, great big huge exhibits are one of the features of the Wild Animal Park that make it a unique. We have some others coming up here near the feeders. Uganda cob is purportedly a friendly antelope species. I can't say I've actually ever observed any of that. Across the valley, ooh, big herd of Kenya impala over there. We'll try to get a close-up view of those cows when we get to the other side. Into the Asian Plains exhibit down the right side. There's one nice big tree cut out there towards the center of the exhibit. And sleeping or resting in the shadow of that tree is a female Indian rhinoceros by the name of Gainda. I can recognize for the company of other rhinos. Oh, there's a nice valley alongside the stream bed, a herd of Altai Wapiti elk. Wapiti is a Native American term that means white rum. Or tan Persian gazelles under the closest tree there to the right side. And look at the hill to your left for Grevy's zebra. But they got themselves booted out of the bigger exhibit because, frankly, they're just too good at competing with the other animals. They were biting and kicking everybody. Now they can only bite and kick one another. But as it turns out, that's actually part of their courtship routine. He bites her on the rump, she kicks him in the head, and, well, if we're lucky, 12 months later, we get some baby Grevy zebras out of the deal. Notice the pinstripe coat pattern, very narrow striping all over, especially, again, we're looking for the only Tibetan Kiang on exhibit in North America. Kiang is a member of the wild ass. There too in our foreground. You look down the hill under the tree for the spotted Indian axis deer. County deer in North America that do so. Spots provide great camouflaging in an open canopied forest where only mottled light can filter through the trees to the forest floor. Mottled light and the spotted coat work together to break up the body pattern, giving an animal like the axis deer good camouflaging. The trunkload of Homo sapien, 50 pounds. This is the largest Asian antelope species. And as good looking as those guys are, these are all the guys who lost the fights and the right to breed the females this winter. Don't have time to come and join us. Right side, crazy rhinos in the valley. The caravan truck, I thought it was there too. The Indian rhino has a 16-month gestation period. Babies average 125 pounds at birth at other zoos. Here it's closer to 175 pounds at birth. In fact, little Josiah Bear, who's now 15 months old, weighed 178 pounds a day he was born. He gained 25 pounds over the next 24 hours. He drinks 3 to 4 gallons a day of his mom's milk and packs on weight at the rate of 3 to 5 pounds per day. He's already up to about 2,000 pounds. By the time he finishes nursing, he could weigh as much as 4,000 pounds. After that, his weight gain will taper off. He should reach mature size between the ages of 3 and 8. Again, the adults are about 4. Rhino walking up the far side of the exhibit there. Her name is Shanti. She's on loan to us from the San Francisco Zoo. Has never been pregnant. That's why she's here. Well, you know, looking for a female that needs a breeding. Up there to your left-hand side, those are Somali wild ass, less than 30 of them on exhibit. People, you do have to be 8 or older to go for safety reasons, but great fun. Very different experience from the Mon zoos in 1962. So the Phoenix Zoo brought those 9 together, started a breeding program. We joined it when we opened the park in 72, and we've since had over 200 introducing the Arabian oryx back into its native habitat. Breeding and reintroduction of endangered species are two. It'll fill in most of the details for you. Along the bottom of the valley, those deer that are right along the stream bed, there are a few of them out in the watering hole now too, are called the Indian Barasinga or swamp deer species. Not too many places you can do that. Little guy scratching his back down the hill there with his horns. He's out in the grass. His called. We didn't plan on planting any grass in the exhibits or anything. We just wanted to keep the native plant life out here, but after a couple of years, the animals ate it all. We brought in weed in this country, so don't ask for it at the Home Depot. They can't sell it to you there. Works well for us, though. We don't ever have to mow or fertilize it, though we do have to water it. In fact, like antelope, just the boys are black and white. Here are female nilgais just below us. The girls have the browner fur. Everybody has those little black and white booty sack markings, though, down by their hooves. Oh, I see a young male in the group. He's got some little horns spiking up there. He'll get booted out of the group soon. Underneath the trees, the chocolate cattle are called Indian Gaur. This is an endangered wild cattle species. It's also the tallest member of the bovine family. The bull stands 7 feet at the shoulder and weighs over 2,000 pounds. Dark chocolate coats like these are good for the dark coat. Takes advantage of the shadows for good camouflaging for the gaur. A lot of primates are dark for that reason too. Cooperate. I did want to report though that from the 23 birds left in 1985 today. All right, we're back in East Africa. Those rusty two-toned gals on the hill are called Kenya and Paula. And boy, they're really nervous about something. We've got only one animal resting right now, and everyone else is in what we call the sentinel posture. They're watching, listening, and sniffing the air for predators. Now, it doesn't matter to them that there hasn't been a predator in this exhibit for the last 25 years. They just never know when the veterinarian's truck might show up again. Our neighbor's willing to do it all for you. Over to your left hand, white coats are good for the deserts. They help to reflect the heat of the sun, keeping the animals cooler. But you know when it's really, really hot outside, because you find the majority of them standing like this, and that is with their is that for scimitar horned oryx, the rear end is the smallest surface area for the sun to have to reflect off of. Besides that, their bodies are shading their legs. Legs are skinny, so heat is lost through the legs. And so overall, this is the posture that provides the best cooling type of thermoregulation for the scimitar horned oryx. I can tell you that I tried standing with my rear end aimed at the sun. It did not reflect the heat. Cool off, by the way, they simply reposition themselves so that that darker hair around the neck is in. And then the other one is just a little bit further out in the mud. It appears to be crossing the mud right now. The babies are, I believe, 12 and 14 days old. They were in the maternity ward until today when we just got in the field. So you guys are among the first park guests to get to view our newborns. This now brings the total number of baby Baringo giraffes born here at the park to 70. It's a 14-and-a-half-month gestation period for the giraffe. And those babies, tinies, they look from here, both over 6 feet tall. They average 5 to 6 feet tall when they're first born. Mom giraffes always want to take advantage of gravity when it's time to give birth, so they do it while standing up. And that means a 6-foot head first drop for every newborn giraffe. The long fall, though, breaks the... They weigh between 2,500 and 4,000 pounds. They are built to tree feed, more or less. There's, in fact, Dad Giraffe is down there. You can look at the baby. He's down there by that real short, fat palm tree in the valley, and he's reaching up with his tongue. He's trying to grab some of those palm fronds right now, so you might watch for that. Reach out. Oh, he's almost got it. Oh, he's almost got it. Please now, no wagering. But you can look at this short tree up close. You can see he's just trimmed that one straight across the bottom, so he ends up without much to do because he's eating all the trees he can down here. The tongue is 18 inches long, so it really gives him a little heads up there on his tree feeding. I think that's as much as he can take right now. We have right next to that male giraffe that's trying to eat the palm tree, there's a sleeping rhino down there, and then there's a couple other ones here at the end of the palm tree grove, and those are the northern white rhinos that we spotted, that the spread tip on their horns will reach 7 feet across. Red record of the Ankole dates back to Mesopotamia. They're believed to be the oldest cattle species ever bred as a source of food, and they are still today being bred. Colored white-tailed gnu that are resting there. Got a little tan guy walking away from us down there called the Barbary red deer. It's the only deer species to occur naturally in Africa. They live in the cork oak forests of Algeria. And look back on your right, Bob studied zebra DNA to determine what color zebras really are. I'm not sure why we needed to know that, but they only nurse for about 2 minutes total all day long. How does anything grow with 2 minutes of nursing? I am dumbfounded by that one. Well, they're not this small. This is a baby reticulated giraffe, about a year old under the tree here. Reticulated is your name for their coat pattern. Reticulated means a netting or a webbing pattern. A good description, I suppose. When they're full grown, they're a couple feet shorter and about 1,000 pounds lighter than the Baringo giraffes. But everybody has the same number of bones in their necks. In fact, it's a trait of all of us mammals to have 7 cervical or neck vertebrae. Ours are just a lot smaller than the ones found in the necks of giraffes. And proportionally, the heart of a giraffe is real big too. Human heart is about the size of a man's fist. and weighs about a pound. A giraffe's heart is the size of a basketball and weighs about 23 pounds. White rhinos in the shadow of that tree. That is the animal that serves as the park symbol. That's what that big bronze statue is out in Nairobi Village. And that's because 83 southern white rhinos have been born here so far. Number 83 is just a couple weeks old, and I think she's still with her mom on the other side of the exhibit. So we're in enclosure for greater kudu. And also, if you look back down along the fence, there's a big black bird there too in the exhibit with him. He's called the Ledbetter's ground hornbill. Very poorly, not eating, not breeding. Turns out, not only with the other big have another stomach than Formosan Shika deer standing just below us next to that little teeny-weeny tree. Across the road, several more Shikas in the mountains of Tibet. They're called white-lipped deer. You need those thicker, more fuzzy ears where it's real cold out. One of those little thin deer ears would be in trouble. Up the road, another Paradavens deer with its head in the feeder. Underneath the next tree, coming up on the right, a herd of European fallow deer try to hog as much shade as they can. Note the antlers on those guys. They flatten out in the watering hole. You've got a guy that looks like a buffalo-tip to the wood bison of North America. They're about a third smaller, but he's still getting kind of hot out here. His winter coat is not going to fall off for several months. The sort of honey-colored deer out in the water are called Paradavens deer again. The tigers can swim too, but they won't go 2 miles out. Others coming up in our view. The and both belong to the goat antelope family. Has a very prolific mom. Pelosi has now had 14 calves here. She's only in her mid-30s. She was on the brink of extinction in the late 1920s, just 20 of them surviving. The experts think keeper staff here today is to take a daily census or inventory of all the animals. As I mentioned, suffers from a bad reputation. Oh, pecking at that vulture. That's kind of funny. They're vine predators, because when a predator finishes feeding, it just leaves. Finish off the carcass, cleaning up the environment, makes when they were eliminated from the wild. The good news is that a couple of years ago, we started reintroducing Chisholsky's horses back into the Gobi Desert on both the Chinese and the Mongolian sides of the border. It stands up all by himself. We don't have to trim it or gel it or mousse it to make it do that. They're also lacking a forelock. That's the hair that normally hangs down between the eyes of a horse. Gives them a little more to do to cool themselves. So we just saw a bunch of shiny black rhinos and gave them the name Black Rhino. And I guess within 3 months of her arrival from the Animal Care Center, they tell me he is supposed to be...
What's that mean? We're about to run out of battery?
Today, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. So we're
low battery.
Keep walking.
Danielle, turn around.
Danielle, look at me.
Okay, take that.
Lift up your head, Nicholas.
Get in a picture, Mike.
Mike, get a picture. Mike, you get closer to Danielle. Get behind her. Look at me, Michael. You got your hands up in your ears.
Danielle, let me see you smile, babe.
Next to Danielle.
You're the one who wanted to do this again.
I'll stay right here.
Come here. Okay. Oh,
It's about to shut off.
It's red from the ice in your ear.
Okay, here we go.
Danielle, can you walk with your hand? What happens if you walk up here?
Sure. Whoa!